Violence breaks out in parts of western Mexico, including the city of Puerto Vallarta, following the death of the leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel. Now,
last week, I introduced legislation to declare war on the cartels, to give the government the tools needed to go after them and hunt them down.
Yesterday morning, one of the most wanted men on earth was killed in a firefight with Mexican soldiers. His name was Nemesio Oscar Cervantes, but the world knew him as Elmencho. Sunday morning, February 22nd, 2026, Mexican Special Forces, backed by United States Navy SEALs intelligence, launched an operation in Tapalpa, a mountain town in Jalisco state. The target, Elmencho, the leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel, a man with a $15 million bounty on his head. When soldiers arrived, they came under immediate heavy fire. Rocket launchers, armored vehicles, a full-scale battle erupted in the mountains. 4 cartel members were killed on sight. 3 more, including Elmencho, were critically wounded. He was loaded onto a military helicopter and airlifted toward Mexico City. But he never made it. Elmencho died in transit. The most powerful drug lord in the Western Hemisphere was dead. And then Mexico exploded. Within hours, reports flooded in from 23 municipalities in Guanajuato alone. 60 arson attacks, 18 Banco del Bienestar branches damaged, 69 OXXO stores set on fire. But it wasn't just Guanajuato. In Puerto Vallarta, reports claimed almost every OXXO convenience store and gas station in the coastal city of 500,000 residents had been targeted. Videos showed thick black smoke rising over the tourist paradise. Narco blockades with burning vehicles and homemade spike strips shut down highways. Gunmen clashed with private security forces in the streets. In Guadalajara, Mexico's second-largest city, burning vehicles blocked every major road. Public transportation was suspended. Schools cancelled classes statewide. The city turned into a ghost town as millions of people locked themselves inside their homes. In Tijuana, hundreds of OXXO stores and public transit systems were shut down following at least 2 targeted attacks. Toll booths in the Tech 8 area were closed. The cartel's message was spreading like wildfire: burn it all down. The violence wasn't contained, it spread. Cars burned out by cartel members blocked roads in nearly a dozen Mexican states, leaving smoke billowing into the air. At least 13 states were under siege. In Coincio, Michoacan, pedestrians walked past charred vehicles left in the middle of roads. In Zapopan, just outside Guadalajara, 6 National Guard members were killed in a cartel ambush. In Puerto Vallarta, prisoners rioted when they heard the news. A jail guard was killed trying to restore order. Unverified leaked messages attributed to CJNG threatened escalated violence targeting civilians, hotels, and anyone on the streets, unless those responsible for Elmencho's death were handed over. The cartels weren't just retaliating against the military, they were threatening everyone. In Jalisco's popular beach resort of Puerto Vallarta, frightened tourists on social media described a war zone as plumes of dark smoke rose into the sky from around the bay. Videos showed people sprinting through Guadalajara's international airport in panic. Families huddled in hotel rooms as gunfire echoed outside. Tour operators cancelled excursions. Restaurants shut down. Beaches emptied. Air Canada suspended all flights to Puerto Vallarta. Delta, Alaska Airlines, American Airlines, United Airlines, and Aeromexico followed. Hundreds of tourists were stranded with no way out. The U.S. Embassy issued urgent shelter-in-place orders for Americans across multiple Mexican states. The warning stated, all U.S. government staff at Consulate General Tijuana and all U.S. government staff in Guerrero, Michoacan, and Quintana Roo states have been directed to shelter in place. One American tourist trapped in Puerto Vallarta posted, "We are sheltering in place in Zona Romantica. Seems like tourists are not targeted. Not concerned for safety from what I hear. Don't know if I'll make it out as planned tomorrow." But the uncertainty was terrifying. By Monday morning, the casualties were mounting. A National Guard member died in Tapalpa during the operation. 6 other National Guard members died in Zapopan. A jail guard was killed at a lockup in Puerto Vallarta when prisoners rioted. An agent from the Jalisco State Prosecutor's Office was also killed. 3 members of the armed forces were wounded and receiving medical treatment. And this was just the beginning. Elmencho was the last of the old guard, the final mass-trafficking titan standing alongside El Chapo and El Mayo, now fallen, marking the end of an era in Mexican organized crime. But his death didn't bring peace, it brought chaos. Born into poverty in Michoacan, Elmencho started as an avocado farmer and dropped out of primary school. He migrated illegally to the United States in the 1980s, was arrested for heroin trafficking in California, and served nearly 3 years in prison before being deported back to Mexico. He joined the local police force, then he joined the cartels. He founded the CJNG around 2007 after his bosses were arrested or killed. His notoriety came from his aggressive leadership and sensationalist acts of violence against both rival criminal groups and Mexican security forces. The CJNG has been one of the most aggressive cartels in its attacks on the military, including helicopters, and a pioneer in launching explosives from drones and installing mines. For years, there were no recent photos of him. All images were decades old. He became a ghost, a myth, and while other cartel leaders flaunted their wealth, Elmencho stayed hidden. Until Sunday. Elmencho is dead, 18 banks burned, 69 OXXO stores torched, 13 states paralyzed, millions of people trapped in their homes. The Mexican government got its prize, the United States got its victory, but Mexico got a war. Because when you kill a cartel leader, you don't end the cartel, you fracture it, and when it fractures, it becomes more violent, more desperate, and more dangerous. This isn't over, it's just beginning. And no one knows how many more will burn.